For me, what's really enjoyable, aside from just listening to these guys, is the opportunity to play not real hard all the time. And to me, trying to play soft and make the groove feel right and intense is as much of a challenge as trying to play it loud. So it's a learning experience for me, and I like that. In this situation for me, it was these guys had been playing for 14 years together, and they had a thing that sounded, I mean, it was incredible. And it was not easy for me to fit in, because it was just different than the things that I had done before. So it's a process of, continuously trying to, zero in on where the groove is, and in my experience, that when we can create a great foundation and a great feel, that the music just sort of begins to play us. And the more I play with these guys, the more that happens. So I'm having a ball. So I'm really happy to be here, and really happy to be here with these guys. But the main thing to make it, whatever way you do it, to make it feel good, is to be able to really lock it in with the bass. And that's what we try to do. And when we do it right, it just sort of has a nice, makes you want to dance. Trying to come to it's an agreement between us, the sound guy, because it's important for us to be able to hear. So and especially if we don't want to play loud, if I don't want to play loud, the last thing that people want to put in their monitors in general is drums, and I go through that a lot with different people. I mean, I have them in my monitor, and they think because it's drums that they'll be able to hear them acoustically, but you can't. And so a lot goes into just trying to get it comfortable between the monitors and the PA. Because if we have it nice up here, soft, and the PA is loud, then it takes the dynamics away from us, and it makes it hard to play. I think every song has like a sweet spot where it feels really comfortable. And I like to try and find where that is, and at least as a point of reference before I count off a song, I like to know where that spot is. I just constantly think about the time, and I'm sort of insistent that the people I'm working with do the same thing, that we listen to each other, and like I said, it's an agreement, because it's not just the way I feel it, but it's the way we all feel it together.
Yeah. How is it to play with an organ bass player rather than a normal bass? What's the differences? Or?
It's a lot different. It's a lot different, and I've been working at trying to do it since we started. What I find is the easier I play the downbeats with the bass drum, I can feel it sort of locking in with the bass. But that's something that it's a continuous thing we're constantly working on. And thank God that Dan is interested in doing the same thing that I am. This guy's got a lot of things to do. He's playing bass, he's playing keyboard, he's changing sounds. He's like a mad scientist. And the Hemmer right over there, drives a Mercedes too. But
Steve, why do you use so many brushes?
Because just because it's heavier, it gives it more weight, so I don't have to play as hard. I can hear them better. And plus, it looks good.
I would like to ask you something. We talked about in the car the other day. I feel, at least, that when I bring on a new song in this band, Steve is every time he's never looking for the easiest way to just, oh yeah, that's sort of a swing tune. Let's play it. Boom, boom, boom. It's always, oh, take a minute to, can I hear the song? And I can see he's going through, you know, his whole vocabulary inside, thinking, well, what would make this song unique? What should this song be able to do? And what do you want to communicate to the audience? And what do we on stage want to feel playing this song? And that's something that Steve he's really a unique guy working with in terms of not choosing the most obvious way, but insisting on creating a unique arrangement and a unique groove. And that's something that I have definitely learned a lot from Steve.
I learned a lot about that from working with different artists. Like Paul Simon is one that comes to mind immediately because he's constantly trying to, look for different ways. I mean, I've done a lot of tours with Paul. And we did Bridge Over Troubled Waters on the first tour with Paul singing with the Jesse Dixon Singers and strings and horns. And it was so much fun. It was like a gospel thing. And then the next tour, when we played, the same song, at the rehearsals, he wanted to do it completely different. Wanted to do it like a reggae. And and my first, this was back in the 70s, and my first thought was, man, we worked so hard to get it to where it was, and it felt so good, it was so much fun. But you know what, we did it the other way, and it worked, and we found another way of doing it. And so I learned a lot from being open to different ways of doing it. It's just trial and error. Try different things, and some things work, some things don't. But when it's right, you can tell just from listening that it just sort of feels like that's the way it's supposed to be. And it doesn't happen the first time. You got to work. What happens when you're working at stuff like that in the studio, and you can start getting into your own head and saying, man, it's my fault. No, you got to not, let your ego take over, and you just got to, lay back and keep trying.
Should we play the last one?
This guy, man, he wants to play the last song. No, I do too.
It's just because I'm not only the band leader, I'm also the tour manager, and we are flying to Finland today. So.
He's the tour manager, he books the tour, he's the writer, he's like the driver, he does everything. I don't know how he does it, but whatever he does a great job. And it keeps on getting better and better, man. Better and better. So thank you, guys. Thank you. Dan, thank you.
The last one is called Korean Barbecue. And I was sitting at a hotel room in Norway, and I thought I had a groove that I heard Steve play that sort of was like that kind of gospel disco kind of thing that I really, really like when Steve does it. And this was with that whole energy.
It's a great home. It's a great home. When I started out, my dad used to take me to hear music, and then you know, we'd go out, I'd do gigs on weekends, and the band would, you know, we'd drive each other, we'd load the drums in the car, and stop and eat on the way home, and that's exactly what we do. But it's good. It reminds me of where I was when I started. All I wanted to do was be able to play music and make a living, and I sort of got away from driving myself and setting up stuff, but we do it now, and it reminds me of I still love to play, and when we get a chance to get to the place and play some music, it makes it all worthwhile. And all of these guys are really important to me. So thanks, guys. Thanks.